Hi, my name is Bintu and today I'm going to teach you how to reverse a single linked list. The program for reversing a single linked list will be written in C language. I hope that you've seen my earlier videos of creating and displaying a single linked list. If you haven't, please visit the link and see that video. Here I'll be only focusing how to reverse an existing single linked list. Here's the code for that. Because I assume that my single linked list consists of only integers, I am using one structure in this program called node. In this structure, I have two members. One is an integer, which I'll be using for storing integer data, and second is obviously a pointer. I'm calling it next, and it will point to the structure of type node only. Here, there are three prototypes for the three functions that I've used in this program. One is create linked list. Obviously, it will be used for creating a single linked list. This is display linked list. This is for showing the content of the single linked list. And this is the main focus of this lecture, reversing linked list. Obviously, this function will reverse the single linked list which is created. When you run this program, you get a menu that will show you four options. Press 1 for creating a linked list, 2 for displaying the content, 3 for reversing it, 4 is for quitting. So this loop will continue to run unless you press 4, that is quit. Obviously, when you run this program for the first time, you have to press 1 to create the linked list, because unless you create a linked list, you won't be able to reverse it. Here's the code for reversing the single linked list. When you create a single linked list, I assume that the first node of the linked list is pointed to by the start list pointer. So start list pointer is the one from which you will be accessing the entire linked list. The first step that I am going to begin is I am making this start list null. I am taking the help of two pointers. I'll make the temp1 to point at the first node. I'll make the temp1 to point where the start list pointer is pointing, that is here. And I'll make the temp2 to point at its next node. So I'll be taking the help of two pointers, temp1 and temp2, with temp1 pointer following temp2. Why? I'll break this node and I'll make it point at start list here. The temp2, because it is still there on the original linked list, it will be used in accessing the original linked list. I'll be taking one node at a time from the head of the linked list, putting it in another linked list, which will be the reverse linked list. And to get back to the original linked list, I'm making use of the temp2 pointer. So what I'm doing, I'll make the next pointer of temp1 to point at start list. After that, I'll ask the start list to point at temp1. See, start list is set to point at temp1. Why I'm making the use of start list here? Because the reverse linked list will be again accessed through start list pointer only. Right, so start list is set to point at this first node which has been reversed. Then after using this temp2, I'll ask this temp1 to go back to temp2. See, I'll make temp1 to point at temp2. So temp1 will go back to the 2 node, right here. And temp2 will be asked to go and point at its next node. Temp2 will be asked to point at its next node. I'll ask the temp1 to go and point at where temp2 is pointing, that is at 2, and temp2 is set to move on its next node. Why? Because now this 2 will be broken. This next of 2 will be diverted to point at this start list. Now 2 will be reversed, after the 8 will be reversed, and 3 will be reversed and connected here. Okay, so see here what I'm doing. The next member of temp1 is set to point at start list. After that, start list is asked to come and point at temp1. Because temp2 is still pointing at the original linked list, so temp1 will be asked to point at temp2, and temp2 will be shifted to the next. Can you see this? That the reversed linked list and temp1 and temp2. Temp1 is picking up one node at a time from the original linked list and attaching it with the start list. And temp2 is set to point at the original linked list so that the rest of the nodes of the original linked list can be accessed. Temp2 is still here. Temp1 is still pointing at the reverse linked list. So temp1 will be asked to point at 8, that is here original linked list, and temp2 is moved to point at its next node here. See, can you see that? Now this 8, this next member of temp1 will be asked to point at start list, and thereafter start list will be set to point at temp1. See, the next member of temp1 will be asked to point at start list, and start list will be moved back and set to point at temp1. Temp2 is still there, pointing at the 3, which is the last node. Now temp1 is set to point at temp2, and temp2 is set to point at the next node. That is, now temp2 is reached at the null pointer. That means that temp1 is at the last node. After that, the next member of temp1 is set to point at start list, and start list is set to point at the temp1. So this linked list is reversed. Can you see that? This is how the program is doing. see, temp1 is set to point at start list, temp2 is set to move at its next node until temp2 reaches null. When the temp2 will reach null, when the temp1 has reached at the last node. For the time that original linked list is not yet over, what you're doing that you're picking up the first node from the original linked list, making it the last node of the reverse linked list, asking the start list to point at temp1, and then temp1 is set to point at the original linked list again, and temp2 is set to move at its next node in the original linked list. The loop will continue. When this loop terminates, that means temp2 is at the null pointer, but temp1 is at the last node. And what you'll do that the next member of the last node is set to point at start list, and start list is set to point at temp1. When this function will get over, start list will be pointing at the linked list which is reversed. You get the message the linked list is reversed. So let's run it and see if the program is working properly. I'll be running my C program on Unix platform. For that I'm using Kigwin. Kigwin is a software package that gives you a Unix environment on Windows. This is a program that I have already written for you, which we've just seen. Let's compile it. I'm using GCC compiler to compile it. No error, that means the program is successfully compiled. Let's run this. I got a menu asking to press 1, 2, 3 or 4. I'll press 1. Enter integer value. Let's enter 1. Want to add more years. Enter integer value 2. Want to add more years. 3 years. 4. Want to add more? No. Let's display it. Press 2. So this is the original linked list 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's press 3 to reverse it. The linked list is reversed. Let's see it displayed. Press 2. See, this is the reverse of it. Can you see it? The 1, 2, 3, 4 was the original and it is reversed. Let's press 3 again to reverse it again. The linked list is reversed. Let's press 2 to see it, whether it is really reversed. See, you got the original linked list. So the program is working perfectly. If you got any problem, you can mail me at bmharwani@yahoo.com. If you want the code also, still you can mail me for that. Please subscribe my channel. You can search for Bintu Harwani for more videos. And do write comments, please. I need desperately, I want to know whether I'm solving your problems or not. And please guide me what kind of lectures you want, what are the videos that you want me to write on. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.